Hello guys, Michael DT here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and for today's video, we'll be pitting a newcomer, the all-new Honda City Hatchback, against the one that it's replacing, its predecessor, the Honda Jazz RS. So the question is the hatchback really that better? Let's go find out. So it's the battle of Honda's best hatches. The Honda Jazz RS versus the Honda City Hatchback RS. So first is size, which is bigger. As you can see through the dimensions, the City Hatchback is longer and wider, making it the bigger car, but the Honda Jazz is taller, making it the better choice for tall people. Now let's talk about the front design. The Honda Jazz RS, as I've said in my previous video, is one of those cars that definitely deserves to be tagged as an RS. Its front design is very aggressive and more sporty thanks to its front bumper design with those carbon fiber accents. While the City Hatchback RS looks more classy and more refined. Even with the carbon fiber accent and honeycomb grille, the Jazz RS still looks more sporty. But the City Hatchback for me is the better looking one. Do you agree? If we talk about lights, both have LED headlights and LED daytime running lights. But the Jazz RS has halogen indicators and fog lights, making the City Hatchback RS the clear winner here for having full LEDs on all types of lights seen at the front, and oh, a better looking headlight too. The City Hatchback RS has 16-inch two-tone Berlina black alloy wheels, which are modern looking. It's the same with the non-hatch City RS but blacker. While the Jazz RS has the sporty looking 16-inch gloss black aluminum alloy. Can't really tell which one's better. Both of them has blacked out parts and accessories like the side mirrors and shark fin antenna. But the Jazz RS comes up short as it only has the micro antenna instead of the shark fin antenna. Well, the Jazz RS has something which the City Hatchback doesn't, and these are the side skirts, which are pretty slick. Now here at the backside, let's take a look individually their unique features. First off, the spoiler. The Jazz has this massive rear spoiler that is very well designed. I'd give just the points here. The City somehow has a tailgate spoiler with gloss black side spoiler, which is kinda new in the eyes for most people. The rear diffuser is going to be a tough one as they have different designs. Both have carbon fiber design, but the Jazz just looks more functional compared to the City Hatchback, which is a more for aesthetic purpose. The Jazz has good looking taillights, but the City Hatchback just looks more angry, aggressive, and sleek. Plus their LEDs, so no contest here. Now let's check out the trunk. The Honda City Hatchback RS has 289 liters of trunk capacity, while the Honda Jazz RS, even though it's smaller in length and width, has the bigger trunk capacity of 384 liters, which is quite a lot bigger compared to the City Hatchback. So now let's go inside. So which is better? First, it's a matter of preference. Do you prefer the orange stitching from the Jazz RS? Or the red stitching from the City Hatchback RS? Even if the Jazz RS might be a bit old, but its interior does look a bit fresh thanks to its touch panel aircon controls, which looks very modern. The City Hatchback RS naman has an 8-inch touchscreen display, which is Honda's biggest screen here in the Philippine market so far. And the all-black design does give it a more premium feel. Now, let's turn on the electronics and compare the displays. The Jazz RS has 3 rings with blue accented lights. Now let's try to turn on the cities. The City Hatchback somehow has 2 rings with red accented lights which matches the interior of the car. This is the touch panel controls of the air condition of the Jazz RS, which is very cool but kinda bit inconvenient sometimes, but you do need to look at it while you toggle the settings. It may have the smaller screen that has the USB function, Bluetooth, and HDMI, but it does have the navigation, which is a very important feature which they took out on the new Honda City Hatchback RS. What I like about the City Hatchback RS is that the color accent of the rotary aircon controls matches perfectly with the instrument cluster and the red stitching of the interior. Plus, its bigger 8-inch touchscreen display has USB function, Bluetooth, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and WebLink. The Jazz RS has black fabric seats with orange stitching. While the Honda City Hatchback has the better seats with leather and suede materials with red accent. Now to the second row. Now both cars have really spacious second rows, but the Jazz here at the back seat doesn't have that much, and it does lack the features compared to the City Hatchback RS. Now the City Hatchback RS, by the way, has this more premium feel interior with of course the rear air vents, where its competition doesn't have, plus the two 12-volt power outlets, which is very useful, especially in long drives. It also has the armrest, which has 2 cup holders on it for the second row, so the City wins the second row battle by miles away. Both cars also has the ULTR feature. Now one of my favorite feature on the Honda City Hatchback RS is the remote engine start, where you can start the engine even if you're not inside the car and let the air condition cool down the car before you enter. Now both cars has a 1.5-liter iVTEC engine, which is Euro 4. Also both uses a CVT. The Honda City Hatchback RS is more powerful by a horsepower. Now, the difference between the City Hatchback RS is that its newer engine has a double overhead camshaft compared to the Jazz RS engine, which only has a single overhead camshaft. Now the advantage of the City Hatchback RS new engine is not on power output but on its fuel efficiency. The City Hatchback is more economical in fuel compared to the Jazz RS, so points to this goes again to the City Hatchback. So now you decide on who your winner here is in this battle. But for me, the City Hatchback is a more practical choice as it has a newer engine and is packed with more features. But if you can't get enough of the sportiness of the Jazz RS, then you won't go wrong with it either, as it is still a great car which can cope up even with today's latest models. But sad to say, it's the end of the road for the Jazz, the end of an era of the model which started the trend of its class.